Hello and welcome back to another book talk with me, Mr. T. MT Book Talks, baby. We're talking about another Murakami classic. It's Men Without Women. Oh no, what would they do? Not exactly the theming of this book, but I am on a Murakami kick lately. This is my third Murakami book I've read. I've read Underground, I've read Kafka on the Shore, and this will mark three, Men Without Women. I've put down a number of Murakami books as well, but I will return to them at some point. Why did I pick Men Without Women? Well, quite simply because it's not a chonker. It's not 1,000 pages. It's like 225 or so. And that's much more manageable for me, who is a humble book reader. I'm lucky to read 3 or 4 a year, but it doesn't stop me. I quite enjoy reading a good book, and I would say this is a good book. This is a good collection of stories. Every so often, I kind of get surprised that I'm reading a collection of short stories and not a book. I thought this would be a book. I thought the concept would be a world where women suddenly vanished and didn't exist. Kind of that's the concept, but not exactly. And I'll discuss how without going too in detail. I'll just kind of give you a brief overview of the types of stories that you will expect to read by reading Men Without Women. So there are 7 short stories in the book, and they are about men primarily and the women who create a very profound impact on the men in very specific scenarios. The first story is called Drive My Car. The second story is called Yesterday. The third story is called An Independent Organ. The fourth story is called Scheherazade. The fifth story is called Kino. The sixth story is called Samsa in Love. And the seventh story is the titular Men Without Women. So this concept for these stories is as follows. For Drive My Car, it's about the concept of women being incapable of driving and sort of addressing the stereotype and the truth. The truth of maybe their inability not just to literally drive a car, but to also drive a relationship. And that happens in a setting of a famous actor and actress, and the actor is deeply in love with his wife, but she has trouble reciprocating, ends up cheating on him, and then never really gets addressed. The guy kind of ignores it, and then she dies. And then that's you're left with the guy, and then kind of examining his mental state as he finds a chauffeur to help drive him. The second story, Yesterday, is about the concept of giving your girl away. Hey, bro, I don't really like this girl that, but you think you could, she's my best friend, but I mean, I don't know, man. I think I can't handle her. Why don't you take a spin with her, and just seeing what that dynamic looks like, if that's something even viable, and also like what would your life be like without that person, and kind of vice versa. The third story, An Independent Organ, is, I originally called this The Man Whore, but I think The Eternal Bachelor is probably a better descriptor for it. It's about a doctor, Dr. Tokai, 52-year-old Dr. Tokai, who never wants to get married, never wants to have the committed relationship, and he only dates people or girls who have boyfriends or husbands. And then you see some of the conflicts that come along with that. And a lot of internal self-reflection about, like, well, what does my life even mean? What's the point? Who am I? I read this book about, a famous doctor who went to Auschwitz and died, or so, and he had like a meaningless life. And it makes me wonder, great, I can pick a great chateau and, pick a nice date, but what else do I have besides that? And then kind of a really a nice ending, I'd say. It's not a happy ending, but a nice ending. Kind of circles back in a very interesting way. Scheherazade is about a deviant caretaker. So a woman who sexually caretakes for this nondescript man and basically leads this very adventurous life. This man does not leave the house, but this woman is hired to see his needs, and she relays a lot of her stories of her escapades and her adventures. And there's this one really intriguing one about when she used to sneak into this boy's house during the school day. She used to cut school to go infiltrate into the house to just absorb his being and likeness. It's really interesting. That one, and I think An Independent Organ, are definitely two highlights for me. They're very interesting texts, and it left more for me that to be desired. But it was a great story, so I really liked that one. Kino is the midlife crisis. A man finds his wife has been cheating on him. He walks in on them, and then he just kind of says, well, fuck it. They were about to get married, I think, and then it's like, well, we won't be needing this anymore, this dowry, so let me go ahead and take it and open up a bar in Roppongi or some other part of Japan. And it's pretty, I don't know, it's actually kind of nice to see, but you begin to see this trend of women cheating on men. It's not in every story, but it's very easy to start to think, wow, is that all this book about, is like women cheating on men with the spouses? And but that's not all. I'd say there's like more self-discovery there. It's just very interesting. Like, it makes me kind of question like the Murakami mind state here. Like, what's going on here? How does he actually feel about women, as partners, as relationship partners? I think he has a very particular view of them. They're not all like that. There's definitely some noble women throughout the text, but that's not one of them. But one of them does appear at the bar, and the bar gives a new meaning to the guy. This one, I don't really think the story goes, too far, but I mean, I haven't thought too deeply about it. The next one I think is the weakest text, but also the most out there. This one is called Samsa in Love. Samsa in Love is about an extraterrestrial metamorphosized entity that has transformed into a man, and this man is discovering what it means to be a man, and a woman comes over to fix the lock in this weird time where everything is going to shit, and he gets hard. Okay, obviously I'm oversimplifying it, but he gets a fucking boner while like the lady is fixing the lock, and he doesn't even know which lock she's supposed to go to. And she's like, wow, do you think you could put that thing away? And he's like, man, I'm sorry, I don't even know what I'm doing. And sometimes we do just need to take a page out of Samsa's book. I don't so stupid. But I guess that's good, some good comedic relief before the final story in the book, Men Without Women. This is reflections coded in a dark young love. And the young love itself is not dark, but the man, now he's settled, he's in this relationship, and he's received a phone call that a woman has died. And he does know the woman. He knows the woman because they were in a relationship when they were 14. And he's like, why are you calling me, telling me about this? And I don't want to give too much away. It's really fascinating how everything kind of cycles back. I think that, like, if you read this book and just kind of put it down, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that Murakami guy, he's just so, he hates women. I don't know. And I think that would be such an oversimplification. You can't look at this book that way, because it's really nuanced and complex. And it's not like, just because there are women who are flawed in the text does not make the viewpoint like his entirely, because there are women in the text who challenge the stereotype, who are like decent. In Drive My Car, the guy gets a girl that can drive. Like, that's the whole breaking of the stereotype. In Scheherazade, that woman is fascinating. I think that was a really highlight for me. I think it's just very interesting how he toys with concepts like faith and death. What does faith mean? How does it affect a person? And then how about death for these same questions? How can the death of the partner affect the person? I do have a passage just towards the end of the book in Men Without Women, the short story itself, Men Without Women, that I thought was good to kind of close on here. So I'll read it and kind of use those as my final words here. You might meet a new woman. This is page 224, by the way. You might meet a new woman, but no matter how wonderful she may be, actually, the more wonderful she is, the more this holds true. From the instant you meet, you start thinking about losing her. The suggestive shadow of sailors, the sound of foreign tongues they speak. Is it Greek, Estonian, Tagalog? Leaves you anxious. The names of exotic ports around the world unnerve you, because you already know what it means to be men without women. You are a pastel-colored Persian carpet, and loneliness is a Bordeaux wine stain that won't come out. Loneliness is brought over from France, the pain of the wound from the Middle East. For men without women, the world is a vast, poignant mix, very much the far side of the moon. And I leave you with that. What is a world for men without women? Well, you'll have to read to find out. It's a solid book. It's a quick read. It's a fun read. I read it in a month. I started at the beginning of January and I finished it yesterday, which is January 31st. So at this rate, hey, book a month, maybe, we'll see. But have you read it? If so, let me know. Are you interested? If so, let me know which story sounds the most intriguing to you. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you with another book talk.